Have you ever wondered in a game of chess, should I trade, should I not? Well, today I'm going to be going into the depth of whether or not to trade pieces and the chess point value. Geek Bros and Chess back with another video. Today I will be explaining exactly when to trade, why to trade, and the piece point value of chess. Let's get right into it. Obviously, the king is infinite. Queen is 9 because she's the best piece on the board. Rook is 5, second to best. Bishop is 3 or 3.5, depending on who you ask. Knight is 3 points. Pawn is 1 point. Now, if you want, you can pause this video, take a few seconds to memorize this. This is important. If you know this, you will know when to trade and when not to. Now, quick point about the bishop. As I mentioned, the bishop is worth either 3 or 3.5, regularly because the bishop pair is known as an extremely powerful pair. Without it, it's worth about the same as the knight. Later in the video, I will discuss into more detail when and when not to trade the bishop for the knight for both sides. Alright, so here's our first position. Now, the question is here, do you take the pawn with your knight? He's going to take back. Is that a fair trade? If you don't know, then feel free to pause, go back to the little chart, and look and get back to me with an answer. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so the answer is no, you do not take, because as I said before, the knight is worth 3 points, and the pawn is only worth 1 point. So in the end of that, he's going to be up 2 points, as you see at the top of the screen. So no, you do not take. All right, next. Which piece do you take? Over here, we have the rook that can take the knight, and over here we have the pawn that can take the rook. White to move, which piece do you take? Like before, if you want, you could pause the video, go back to the chart to figure out your answer. I'll give you a few seconds. And, okay, so the answer is that you take the rook because the rook is worth 5 points, while the knight is only worth 3 points, and you should be able to win this game because you're up 3 points, right? The rook is worth 5, the pawn is worth 1, that together that's 6, the knight is worth 3, so you're up 3 points, and you should be able to win this position. All right, next up, we have this. This is also a very common position in a game. Should the bishop take the knight? That's the question. Like before, if you want, you can go back and check. I'll give you a few seconds. All right, so, yes, most of the time, the bishop can take the knight. I know I said earlier the bishop is worth 3.5. Technically, it is only worth 3, but when you start to get better at chess into the 4 digits, when you get to be 1,000 or 1,500 or 2,000, you start to learn that in most positions the bishop is slightly better than the knight. But for now, yes, taking the knight is an okay trade. He'll get it back, and the points are even. All right, next one. This one is the last one. Then after this, I'll give you puzzles to leave on. But here the question is, should the rook take the knight? Like before, if you want, you can go back to the chart. But now, regularly, the answer would be no. Because a rook is worth 5 points, and a knight is only worth 3 points. But over here, it's a little bit different, right? Because obviously the knight's going to recapture your rook, and you're going to be down, right? But after the rook takes the knight, and the knight takes the rook, and you're down 2 points of material, then you get to take his knight, and that's 6 points for only 1 point. I mean, for only 5 points. So then you'll end up 1 point ahead, and yes, you should indeed take this knight. Last and final puzzle. In this position, do you take the knight? This position is very similar to one of the earlier ones. If you take the knight, comment down below what you guys think. Should you take the knight? If you shouldn't, what is the best move? And I hope to see you guys next time. Make sure to like and subscribe.